Well, do you know the answer? I didn't. Hang on. Robert Plank has made a podcast that we'll get to listen to a little bit of in just a second. Well, here's your answer.
Hi, I'm Robert Plank, and welcome to PodcastCrusher.com. Now, quick question. What do the following internet celebrities have in common? Mike Filsaime, Armin Morin, Ray Edwards, Willie Crawford, Anderson Cooper, Chris Matthews, Adam Carolla, Rachel Maddow, Tim Ferriss, Gary Vaynerchuk, and Michael Hyatt. Well, the answer is that they all have podcasts. And now, for the first time ever, you can too. You can set up your own podcast, and now you'll have your own internet radio show broadcasting today, because there's a secret, untapped resource on the internet that's growing by leaps and bounds. Authors, speakers, and trainers all hang out there. Buyers look there for authority figures, and people who market in this area make sales. Now, what am I talking about? Setting up your very own internet radio show on iTunes, as well as other podcasting directories around the internet, just like Showtime, CBS, NBC, BBC, CNBC, ESPN, and Disney have all recently done. So pay very close attention and read this page very carefully. And once you've made your decision, scroll down to the bottom of the page and join Podcast Crusher right away.
Neat or what? Um, the biggest thing that he emphasizes is this is a great way to get traffic, authority, credibility, recognition, and sales, because you're branding yourself. And the content in a podcast can be used different ways, and to be exact, part of this podcast he's used as a sales page. Well, if you want some answers, like how do I get my podcast syndicated? How often should I update it? How do you make it go viral? Viral? Where do you host your podcast? And how do I make money with podcasting? How do you get your podcast featured in the iTunes store? Well, I know Robert knows how to do that because he was featured on the front page of iTunes after he posted his 4th podcast. And there's things like podcasting directories and attracting new listeners, sharing, the whole bit, plus keeping up with the technology. I know Robert loves to write and is very prolific, and it seems like he likes to talk and is very prolific with that too, because he says in one of the things that a podcast can be too long. And he said the hosting, where it's hosted, will make a difference. And there's certain settings that you have to get just right for iTunes. So let's take a look. So the product that this video is all about, Podcast Crusher, has a quick start guide that lists just about everything you need to know. Hang on, let me see if I can get into it and show you. Here's a sneaky look inside one of the instruction guides that come with it. Your checklist, things you, and see, he gives you examples of what to fill out and what goes in the thing. And see, he tells you where to do things and some other things. And good information, all laid out, very organized. Hang on. what he goes into, another thing, is you just can't throw up a podcast show and leave it sitting. You need to notify your followers, like on Facebook. People put a post on your blog and with a link to it. If you have an email list, send it out to your subscribers and request they go listen. So, lots of ways that you can get your podcast up and popular, and therefore, the more people that listen, maybe they'll share with their friends and so forth and get more subscribers. Using a podcast show or network is a great way to create traffic and help build an email list and even get traffic to your blog. So go take a look at this program and check it out. You might be surprised. Well, join Podcast Crusher and you will have this today. Your own podcast on iTunes, multiple audios on your blog, major search engine rankings, traffic from 20 plus sources, and a podcast Facebook fan page, professional podcast artwork, an intro and outro music, and podcasting domain name. In other words, some of this will come with the program and some of it you've got to do. So get on the stick and go check it out. Facebook always wants to know what I've been doing, and I went and found my Podcast Crusher program that I'd bought more than a year ago, and I signed into the membership and started working and made a podcast. And all I used was a $10 LabTech USB microphone and Audacity, which is free to download and use, because I live way out in the country and I just couldn't zip right into a town somewhere. It's middle of the night and 30 miles one way and 30 miles another. But anyway, if you're interested, you can go check it out at skipperworks.info and then look for Robert Plank and Podcast Crusher featured on iTunes, and you can get to listen to my first and only podcast. Easy to do. Talk to you later. Goodbye. Be sure to check out Facebook, Internet Money Store, and skipperworks.info. Some interesting stuff hanging out there.